Hi everybody and welcome back to Love English. I'm Sabrah, your British University English teacher. Now what do you think, guys? Do you think English is a beautiful language? Sure, it may not have the musicality of Italian or the sophistication of French or even the mysteries of Arabic or Hindi, and of course all the other qualities that many languages around the world hold. But we would argue that English is a beautiful language because it is very varied and there are many beautiful sounds in English as well as many beautiful meanings. Now in this video we're going to look at 25 of the most beautiful English verbs, and I've chosen these either because they have a beautiful sound or because they have a beautiful meaning. Now what we would like you guys to do is to share any words that you think are beautiful in English that you particularly like, or a word from your own language. Share that in the comments below. Let's make this a celebration of the beauty of language. Now, of course, guys, this is a vocabulary lesson and we teach you a lot of vocabulary on Love English, but you may be sometimes finding that you have trouble remembering it all, or you don't know how to record it, things like that. Or simply you want to learn more vocabulary more quickly. Now, if this is your problem, then we have a great course. We have our own ebook course, a guide to learning and building your vocabulary in English. And in that course, there are 60 pages of tips, guidelines, exercises, and lots of vocabulary, as well as 3 exclusive videos. So if you go to our website, guys, the link is here, then you can get a free sample of that, or you can, of course, purchase the course. And of course, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and you can follow us on our social media as well. Number 1, to adorn, to adorn. And to adorn is really a synonym of to decorate, but we use it more with people. We can also use it with things, but we do use it quite a lot with people. So we might say, she adorned herself with her best jewels. This means she decorated herself, she made herself look more beautiful with her best jewels. Number 2 is to quip, to quip. And to quip means to make a witty or a funny remark. So witty means clever in a funny way. So if we quip, we make a witty or a funny remark. It could be a funny response to something somebody has said or something like this. So it's quite sophisticated, to quip. So the American film director Woody Allen, he quipped by saying this. He said, "In America, they don't just throw out their garbage, they turn it into TV shows." Number 3, to devote, to devote. And this has a beautiful meaning and also a beautiful sound, to devote. Basically, it means to commit yourself to something fully. If you devote to something, you are committed to that thing fully. It is the first thing in your life. So for example, she is devoted to her job, or she devoted her life to public service. This means that she was completely committed. It came first. It was the number 1 in her life. We can also say that a section of time is devoted to something. So for example, part of the lecture will be devoted to answering your questions. This means given completely. Number 4, to languish. Beautiful sounding word, to languish. And basically, this has not got a positive meaning. This has actually got a negative meaning. It means to be left in a very bad condition, in a bad state, to become weak, to become depressed. So if we say, he's languishing at home without a job, or plants languish without enough water, or even he languished in jail for the wrong crime for 10 years. So anything like this. So it's not got a positive meaning, but it is a beautiful sounding word, to languish. Number 5 is to elaborate, to elaborate. And this means to go into more detail. So if somebody says, could you please elaborate? They mean, could you please say more? Could you go into more detail? Or in an essay, you can actually write to elaborate, which means to tell you more about this, to give you further details. But it's got a lovely sound, to elaborate. Now don't confuse this, guys, with the adjective, which is spelt the same but has a different pronunciation. The adjective is elaborate, elaborate, not to elaborate. so they have different pronunciations. Elaborate, of course, means the same. It means detailed, but it's more descriptive. So it means something is very detailed or ornate. For example, we might say, the paintings on the ceiling were so elaborate. Number 6. Now this one doesn't have a positive meaning, but again, it has a nice sound. To insinuate, to insinuate. And this means to suggest something in a non-direct way, so in an indirect way, to suggest something unpleasant might be true. So if you said, for example, well, those two people have been spending a lot of time together. They're not spending as much time with their husband and wife, but they're spending a lot of time with each other. Someone might say, what are you insinuating? As in, what are you trying to suggest? Are you trying to suggest they're having an affair? So what are you insinuating?
Oh, Sabrah, all this yoga is all very well and good, but if you want to be really fit, you need to go to the gym or go running. Running is good for you.
Excuse me, Leila, what are you insinuating? I'm fit as a fiddle. Number 7, to gleam, to gleam. And this is where light is produced or reflected from the surface of something. So for example, if you are somebody who loves cleaning, you might want to polish your surfaces and clean your tables and worktops until they gleam. Unfortunately, that's not me. I'm not that devoted to cleaning. But yes, so other things can gleam, such as our eyes can gleam in a certain light, or water can gleam, or your smile can gleam. So an advertiser who is advertising whitening of teeth or perfect teeth might say, get your gleaming smile. Number 8, to banter. This is definitely one of my favourite words from the English language, and this is because I love the meaning of it. So when we banter, this is kind of like verbal ping pong. It's when you have a witty or funny conversation with somebody, often where you're joking with each other and teasing each other, and you have to come back with a response. Because if you don't come back with a response, the other person has won. So my boyfriend and I often do this together where we tease each other, but it's all very playful and funny. Many couples like to do this. But also this can happen between friends, between family members. Basically, the winner is the one who is left with the last remark, who the other one can't think of a reply to. Number 9, this is to shimmer, to shimmer. Beautiful sound and also beautiful meaning. To shimmer is where light, again, is reflected from something, but the light moves more. So, for example, a lot of girls might wear shimmery eyeshadow where the light is reflected from the eyeshadow. A beautiful example sentence would be, she saw her reflection in the water shimmering in the moonlight. She saw her reflection in the water shimmering in the moonlight. Oh, Leila, nice shimmery eyeshadow. Number 10 is to drift, to drift. And to drift means to move slowly, usually on your own, moved by outside forces. So for example, if you put a piece of paper on some water, on for example, a little river or something like that, as long as the river is moving slowly, the paper will drift along with the water. We can also describe ourselves as drifting. If we feel we have no clear direction in life at the moment, we don't know what we're doing with our career, we can say, oh, I feel like I'm really drifting at the moment. I'm not really settling on anything or committing to anything. I feel like I'm really drifting. Another example would be, a mist drifted in from the mountains. Number 11 is to charm, to charm. And we often think of this in the adjective. Somebody is charming. For example, Prince Charming. However, we forget that we can use this word in the verb. If somebody is particularly pleasant to us, is particularly polite in the way that they are towards us, or kind, basically knows how to be very good-mannered with somebody, we can say that they charmed us. So normally we want our girlfriend or boyfriend, if they haven't met our parents yet, we want them to charm our parents. We want our parents to like them, and so we want them to be very charming and to charm our parents. Number 12 is to flatter someone. And this is similar to charm, but this is more verbal. So if somebody flatters you, they give you praise, they say nice things about you. And sometimes they do this without any ulterior motive, just because they like you, they want to give you compliments. And other times it is because they have an ulterior motive. So a man might flatter a woman because he wants to take her out on a date, or someone might try to flatter their mum and dad because they want to get a lift somewhere. But other times it can be sincere. It's not always with an ulterior motive. A phrase we use quite a lot is, don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself. And this is where we think somebody is complimenting themselves too much, and we can say, come on, don't flatter yourself. Number 13 is to court someone. To court someone. And this is a little bit of an old-fashioned word today. However, you will still hear it. Basically, if two young people were described as courting, this would mean that they were dating, getting to know each other, seeing if they would probably get married, this kind of thing. So quite old-fashioned. So we might say, oh, those two are courting, for example. Particularly something that my grandmother would definitely have said. Today, if we use it, it can sound quite cute and romantic, but we also can use it if somebody is interested in someone else in the business sense. For example, a person can be courted by a company that wants that person to join them. Number 14 is to lavish. To lavish. And this means to give very generously and in large quantities to someone or something. So we can lavish praise on a person. We can be very generous in our praise towards a person. Or we can lavish gifts on a person. Or we can lavish compliments. Anything which we give it generously and in large quantities. Number 15 is to evoke. To evoke. And to evoke is like the word provoke, but it's more about our emotions. So if something evokes something, it means it brings to our mind an idea, a feeling, an emotion, a memory, anything like that. So we might say, oh, this poem has really evoked memories of my childhood. Or this place has really evoked some ideas. I've really got some good ideas from being in this place. Or this holiday has really evoked some happy and contented feelings. Number 16 is to illuminate. To illuminate, which means to light up. If something is illuminated, it is well lit. Light has been cast on it. So we might say, brilliant sunshine illuminated the park. Or if we say, this research has really illuminated areas we didn't know about child psychology, it's almost saying it's shone a light on it. It has revealed it. Number 17 is to rescind. To rescind. And this means to formally take back. To formally withdraw something. So if I say I rescind my invitation, it means I formally withdraw my invitation. Often this is connected to matters of the state or policies and things like that, anything which is official. But if you listen, it has a lovely sound, to rescind. So we might say, the Queen rescinded her invitation to Leila and Sabrah to attend Buckingham Palace, as she no longer felt they were appropriate guests. What do you guys think? Do you think we would be appropriate guests for the Queen? I think so. Number 18 is to elude. To elude. And if something eludes you, you can't quite get it. You can't quite manage to achieve it, or you can't remember it. So you might say, oh, the meaning of this word, it eludes me, meaning you can't quite get it, you can't quite remember it. Or if we say, success in my career still eludes me, it means that you're trying to get it, but you haven't managed to achieve it yet. It's elusive, it's hard to find, it's hard to get. Number 19 is to revel. And this comes from an old-fashioned English word, which was revelry, which was basically merrymaking, enjoyment, having a party. But we still use the word to revel today. And if we say we revel in something, it means we take joy and satisfaction from that. So for example, I always revel in the idea of having an evening just with my boyfriend, watching a film, getting our favourite food in, not having any stress. I just revel in that. I know that Leila might actually revel in the idea of being alone though. I know she likes to just watch what she wants, get in her pajamas, start eating some chocolates. That's her idea of having a great evening. And she revels in that.
So Millie, what do you fancy watching? An episode of The Crown again?
Number 20 is a lovely word. It is to cherish. To cherish. And to cherish is when we hold something dear. We have a huge amount of affection for it. It's something that's very precious to us. So we might say she cherished her favourite necklace that was given to her by her grandmother. And this would mean she looks after it, she takes care of it, and when she wears it, she feels very happy. Or we might say she cherished the memories she had of when she first fell in love with her husband. Number 21 is to twinkle. To twinkle. You may have heard of the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And twinkle is, of course, when light flickers. It goes on and off. So typically the stars twinkle. Again, our eyes can twinkle. If our eyes twinkle, it can sometimes mean that we are being a bit mischievous. We are thinking of plans and fun things that we can do. So to have twinkly eyes, for example. Lights from houses can also twinkle in the night time. Number 22 is a verb phrase that I love, and I use it quite a lot actually. It is to dilly and dally. To dilly and dally. And basically this is very similar to the English verb to faff, only it's a little bit sweeter and funnier than that. Essentially it means waste time, procrastinate, kind of be not getting on with the main task. It can also be that you are just being particularly slow. So you might say, come on, stop dillying and dallying. We need to leave. Stop wasting time. Stop dillying and dallying. Number 23 is to wax lyrical. To wax lyrical. And if somebody waxes lyrical, they talk a lot in an animated way and in an enthusiastic way about something that they like. So they might wax lyrical about how well it's going at work, or about the joys of beekeeping, or about something which is very interesting for them, but may not always be for other people. So sometimes with wax lyrical, it can mean that actually they talked so much that they started to bore the other people.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be fantastic. 12 days of Leila and Sabrah. 12 consecutive days of lessons with us over the Christmas period. Can you believe it? It's just going to be wonderful.
Number 24 is to fawn. To fawn. And we can actually use this with over. It can be a phrasal verb. To fawn over somebody or something. Don't confuse this with the noun fawn, which actually means a baby deer, like Bambi. So no, this is to fawn over. And this means to flatter, to fuss, to make a big deal out of something. So sometimes the media can fawn over a particular celebrity for a while. They can lavish them with compliments. They can say many nice things about them and fawn over them. It's almost like falling at somebody's feet to fawn over. Number 25, beautiful word. It is to ripple. To ripple. And to ripple means when water drops on a surface, so a raindrop, or a stone going into water, or a boat on the water. This means that a small circular motion is created in the water. So the water is rippling. And this can look quite beautiful. In the UK, when you see light rain falling on a lake, you see all the ripples. It is really quite beautiful. Right, guys, they were our 25 beautiful English verbs. I hope you agree and that you think they are beautiful as well. Do try and use any of them below in a sentence and I will check that for you. And your other homework is to say which word do you think is beautiful in the English language, or a word that is beautiful from your own language. Remember, let's celebrate the beauty of language here in the comments. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget that we cherish all of you, and of course, we cherish your comments as well. We'll see you soon on Love English. Bye-bye.